So what are the different HCV genotypes? What is a genotype and what do these genotypes mean? HCV is basically a virus. It is called hepatitis C and it spreads through infected body fluids and causes damage to the liver. What is a genotype? A genotype is basically a series of nucleic acid sequences. Just like human beings have DNA inside our cells, viruses also have genetic material. In case of HCV, this is RNA and it has its own different types based on which kinds of sequences are present. So the HCV virus, while it is known under the broad name of hepatitis C, has several subtypes. Now 6 or actually 7 major subtypes have been recognized or found. Out of this, it is the subtype 1 which is the most prevalent and the others are less prevalent. Even within the different genotypes, there are smaller subtypes. So inside one, you will have 1A, 1B, 2A, 2B, so on and so forth. Because the thing is that even within the same genotype, there are tiny differences between the same virus. So there are actually many different types of these viruses, and that's what a genotype basically means. So why do hepatitis C genotypes matter? We already know that a patient is infected with hepatitis C. How does it help us to know which type of hepatitis C it is? The truth is that there are different ways or approaches of treating hepatitis B depending on the genotype, and different genotypes respond differently to different combinations of treatment. So when you're diagnosed with hepatitis C, doctors will usually ask for a genotype assay to be done to determine which is the best combination of medicines that can help you to recover as soon as possible, because studies have shown that there are different regimens or treatments for different types of hepatitis C genotypes, and this is the most important reason to do the test. How does hepatitis C genotyping work? Hepatitis C genotyping is done through a simple blood test. It's just like any other lab test that you would have. A sample of your blood is drawn. This is taken to the lab. The hepatitis C RNA material, which is the nucleic acid material of the hepatitis C virus, is isolated from your blood. This is then sent forward to a technology called PCR, or a polymerase chain reaction, which amplifies the amount of the virus in the sample, and then on that further processing is done to find out exactly which specific RNA sequences are present or nucleic acid sequences are present in that virus, so that we know exactly which genotype it is that the patient is infected with. An interesting thing to note is that there are very rare cases where a person may have 2 different genotypes at the same time of the virus, and these are rare cases, but it has been reported. So when to test for the genotype? There's only one situation in which genotype tests are required. As soon as you're diagnosed with the hepatitis C virus, genotype testing will be recommended before the treatment is started, because as I already told you, they will tailor the treatment for you based on the genotype of the virus. And so this is something that you only need to do once. You don't need to keep doing it again and again. They will just ask you for it once at the beginning of your treatment. Once they know the genotype, they will start the treatment therapy regime based on the genotype, and that's all that needs to be done. What is the cost of genotyping usually in a country like India? Well, a genotype test in India is one of the most expensive lab tests that can be done. This is because it requires very special assays. This is a molecular technology that is used to determine this genotype. We are practically going down to the level of the individual nucleic acids inside the virus. So usually in India, the cost ranges between 7,500 to 10,000 rupees. For those of you who are watching this who are not from India, that's roughly somewhere between $70 to $100 US dollars. And that's quite expensive for a lab test, but there is really no alternative to this, because the only way to know the genotype is by doing the PCR assay, and these assays are just expensive.